I got the moves. I got the moves. I'm making moves. You gotta move. You gotta make the city move. Like, whoa. I make the city move. I got the move.
The Philadelphia 76ers haven't had the greatest start to the 2019-20 season. After going 5-0 to begin the year, they've struggled as of late, and it's now starting to raise the question: is this team as good as they look on paper? Are they legit title contenders, or are they overrated? In today's video, I'll be answering those questions, as well as looking at why the 76ers are struggling and analysing the team in general. If you're new here and enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe for more NBA content and like the video if you enjoy as well. But with that being said, let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers.
Lucas.
The 76ers had a great start to the season, but have since dropped off fast. They were 5-0 in their opening 5 matches, but are now 11-6 and have dropped down to the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference. Whilst the 76ers have got some good wins this season, like versus the Celtics and Miami, they've dropped a lot of games they probably should have won. The 76ers have had an incredibly easy schedule to begin the year also, already playing teams like Cleveland and New York multiple times. But when they've had to face against playoff teams or teams over 500, they've stumbled. Losses to teams like OKC and Orlando really should not be happening. This is obviously troubling and makes people question what is wrong with this team. Well, let's look at some players on the 76ers who have been disappointing so far and are playing a part in this poor start. The first guy who's been disappointing so far is Ben Simmons. Simmons really just hasn't been himself this year, and it's seeming like he's plateauing. His numbers have dropped from almost 17 points per game to under 13, and his rebounds and assists are down too or haven't improved in general. After the preseason, everyone was hyped to see Ben Simmons, as it looked like his shot was arriving and he may be shooting threes to begin this season. And whilst he has hit one, that's it. He's only hit one, and he's taken a total of 2 shots from behind the arc this season. One of which was a half-court heave airball with 6 whole seconds left to lose the game to the Raptors in Toronto. At the end of the day, Simmons has just been very disappointing this season. His stats have regressed, his 3-point shot is not there like we were promised. Something needs to change, because right now, Ben Simmons is holding the 76ers back a lot. Joel Embiid is the next guy I want to talk about, and he too has been pretty disappointing to start the season. After a big season last year where he averaged over 27 points per game and 13 rebounds, as well as solidifying himself as the best center in the league, Embiid has struggled to start the year. He's currently only averaging 21 points per game and 12 rebounds, and he is shooting poorly, 45% from the field and an awful 32% from 3. What makes matters worse is that Embiid just played the worst game of his career, where he scored 0 points versus the Raptors. That's really bad, and he can't allow that to happen. He can't allow himself to be locked up by Marc Gasol, an old vet way past his prime who is playing some pretty average basketball right now. Embiid has had some injuries this season, which may explain the stats a bit, but at the same time, Embiid has just been so disappointing to start the year, and it's a big reason why the 76ers are struggling right now. Tobias Harris is the final guy I want to talk about today, because he's the final guy on this team that's been very disappointing so far. Looking at his stats, Harris doesn't seem like he's been that bad, averaging 18 points per game. What's bad, however, is Harris's shooting percentage. Tobias Harris is currently shooting only 30% from 3, which is terrible considering he is regarded as arguably a top 10 shooter in the league and has previously averaged over 42% from downtown in the past couple seasons. What makes it worse is that he is Philly's #1 shooter, and if we're being honest, one of the only 2 or 3 guys on this roster that have shown they are efficient 3-point shooters. This is why he's playing a big role in the Sixers' demise this season. Him shooting so poorly is causing a major negative effect on the 76ers, as they really have no one else they can rely on in their starting lineup. I will admit, he's starting to improve over these last few games, but it's not good enough, and again, his struggles are a big reason as to why the 76ers are looking more and more vulnerable this season. So those are the guys I think are causing the poor play in Philly. Due to their poor play, I feel like the 76ers aren't as good as they could be. So, are the 76ers overrated? Are they actually true title contenders? To me, I think it may just be a bit of a slump, and I'm sure they'll still be in the conversation for a finals appearance come the playoff time. I mean, they've only played like 16 games so far, so there is plenty of time for them to turn it around. Unfortunately though, I'm not sure if I see them as favourites in the East or even second to the Bucks right now. They may not even reach the Eastern Conference Finals this season if things don't improve. If Simmons doesn't improve his shot or start taking more threes at least and doesn't reach his superstar potential soon, the 76ers may be in a bit of trouble. Same with Embiid and Tobias Harris. If Embiid and Harris keep having these poor games, I'm not really too sure how well the Sixers will do. They might yet again be second round exits this season. As someone who is a big fan of Simmons, I really hope this doesn't happen. I want to see them succeed. I am not trying to hate here. But if the 76ers can't turn this around soon and actually make some improvements, they may just be a bit overrated in my opinion and may potentially fail to reach the Eastern Conference Finals this season. But what do you guys think of this? How good are the Philadelphia 76ers to you? Are they overrated in your opinion? To me, I just think simply due to how easy their schedule has been so far and the fact their record is pretty average and how guys like Simmons and Embiid have regressed, it does make them a bit overrated in my eyes. But with that being said, I do think they can turn it around once the playoffs arrive. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Before we wrap up this video, I just want to say this is probably my last video for a little while, maybe around a week and a bit or so, because as of when this video is released, I'll be heading to the USA on a trip there, so videos will slow down for the next few weeks because I'm there for a little while. But don't worry, I've scheduled a few videos for while I'm over there, so stay tuned for those. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop it a like and subscribe, but with that being said, I am out. Peace.
Oh, pull up in the German. Your crew look nervous. Your gang came from the circus. You will never ever make no earnings. Pull up in the German. Your crew look nervous. Your gang came from the circus. You will never ever make no earnings. They ain't about it, so don't bother. Get dipped like a chip, no salsa. I guarantee that I'll flog you. So if I see you, better come.